You may scream, there is no shame.
Covenant, calling Raven.
Payback time.
Come on! Come with me if you want to live. You just don't turn it off!
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema, where we talk movies of the past that you know and love. And today's review is Rambo, First Blood, Part 2. Murdoch, I'm coming to get you. Love it, love it, love it. Rambo, First Blood, Part 2 is one of the great action movies of the 1980s. To some, probably one of the greatest action movies of all time. And I've read recently that Stallone is still very proud of this movie and considers it one of the best action movies of the 80s. Now, when I was a kid, this movie I wore out on VHS so many times. I had the poster in my room. I watched this more than any other action movie probably. And over the years, as I've matured, especially when I started doing movie reviews, looking at things differently. There's just things in this movie that don't hold up like I would like it to. There's things in this movie that I see differently now. I see what they could have done and all that kind of stuff. And we'll get into all that. So if I'm coming down on this movie a bit, I still like this movie. I still like this movie quite a lot. I just see the movie differently now, but I still have a really good time with this movie. So hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you think of Rambo 2. If you've seen it, you haven't seen it. Let's have a great, healthy conversation in those comments. Rambo, First Blood, Part 2 was released in 1985, directed by George P. Cosmatos, and starring Sylvester Stallone, Richard Crenna, Charles Napier, and Julia Nixon. Rambo returns to the jungles of Vietnam on a mission to infiltrate an enemy base camp and rescue the American POWs still held captive there. How could we not like the way this movie starts, where Troutman comes to see Rambo? He's been in prison for 5 years and gets him to do this mission to go rescue POWs, or just take photographs, apparently, to show that they're still missing POWs. And I just love this one line.
Do we get to win this time?
This time it's up to you.
And then that music, dun, 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 and then great intro title. I mean, people were applauding, I believe, after this, because now we get to see Rambo in his element. Now we get to see him in a real war situation, like back in the jungles of Vietnam. So I like that. I like where they take this movie, and the screenplay done by Sylvester Stallone and James Cameron here. This is interesting. From what I gather, from what I've read, James Cameron wrote the action, Stallone wrote the politics. You can almost see what James Cameron did with Aliens that was inserted in here, where Rambo, with PTSD from the first movie, has to face the jungles of Vietnam again. It has to go back there and face it. But I think you could see what he was trying to accomplish here. And I feel like you can really feel James Cameron's stamp on the action. It feels that way. It feels like, if you just look at all the action sequences, that almost feels very James Cameron, like, where it just keeps, amping up. And then the third act just goes balls to the walls, action craziness, right? Now, obviously, I do love Sylvester Stallone in this movie. I love Rambo in this movie. I still like the character. I still like what he's doing. It's just, I don't like how it went from this real gritty, atmospheric feel where we left them off in the first movie to this over-the-top, cartoony kind of character now. This is where Rambo really ingrained himself into the pop culture. Even the colors, you look at this movie, it's almost got a cartoon feel to it. It's very bright and the colors pop, and for a movie that's rated R, there's not a lot of blood in this movie. See, in First Blood, he was such a withdrawn, dark character, where he did a lot with his eyes of staring and everything like that. And you get to this movie, it's like the PTSD is not there no more. And I think what you could have really done here is you could have did a prequel first, where Rambo escaped from this original prison camp and everything, and saw, Baker Team and all that, and maybe like what Missing in Action did, kind of, and then did this movie. I think you would have had a pretty perfect trilogy there, with First Blood, a nice prequel, and then the third one being what this was, Rambo 2. But that's just me thinking out loud right now and stuff like that. But I think that would have been a better way to go, just looking at it in hindsight. But Stallone really delivers on the action. He still delivers on this character. This is where he became like my hero, man. This was like This is the action hero Rambo. You know what I mean? They bring Rambo right down. He's left for dead. He gets caught when he's trying to free these POWs. So there's, it's the 80s. You got the Russians as the bad guys. You got these Vietnamese soldiers as the bad guys. Then you got Rambo's own fucking country against them. Trotman's the only one with this honor code to him. You get this bureaucrat Murdoch, just covering his ass, abandoning Rambo because it would open up a whole new fucking can of worms politically and everything. And Trotman and him have this great argument how this whole mission was a freaking lie, never about rescuing POWs. And I just love that one line. And by the way, this movie has fucking great one-liners in it, but that one line where he says, you're the one making the mistake, Rambo. But if you like these movies like Commando, if you like Invasion USA, if you like movies about the one man taking out a full army on his own, which there's a lot of fun in that, Rambo 2's for you if you've never seen this movie, which I highly doubt that, especially the people who follow me. But that's what I mean. It's still a good time. I mean, the action sequences, guys, like the action sequence on the boat, when Ko rescues Rambo and they escape is fantastic. The ones where Ko gets killed, Rambo's bouncing the bullets off the rocks and he's hitting the guys. Excellent stuff, but I especially love, and this is kind of like the symbolic of the hero Rambo. People must have been cheering here, especially everything that happened in the Vietnam War where these guys weren't allowed to win, all the politics and all that kind of stuff, where Rambo is in the helicopter, comes back, blows the shit out of this fucking prison camp, rescues all the POWs, and he's with the machine gun, this, and he's like, come on. I especially love the scene where he's got one of the POWs go, come on, you can do it, get to the chopper. Another guy who says, get to the chopper. Great stuff, great action sequence, great action sequence in this. That whole third act is just balls to the walls. It's excellent. One of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is Rambo hiding in the mud, right? And does that rack focus, and he, comes out of the mud, stabs the guy. Excellent stuff there. So we get a love interest here for Rambo, which is Ko, which is his contact when he lands into the jungle. She's a little opposite of Rambo. She's full of life, talkative, happy all the time, very social, wants to just get out of this life thing. She's done with war. She wants to go to America, and she really helps Rambo because she helps him escape and everything like that. Like, she rescues him. The only person to ever give a shit about Rambo besides Trotman, right? And I really feel like her character was absolutely fucking wasted in this. I didn't see the point of killing Ko at all, except for Rambo to go on a rampage, which he would have went on a rampage anyway, because he got abandoned. So I thought it would have been really cool if she rescued Rambo, but during their escape, she got caught. He has to go back and rescue her, and he rescues the POWs. I think that would have been cool. I just really like the scene where this series would have gone if Ko would have lived and they would have went to America and stuff like that. I don't know. I just think what Rambo went through the first movie and everything that this guy lost, this woman was just something that I think would have been really good for his character. And I love Ko. I don't care what people fucking say about Ko. I love this character. I think she's hilarious. She's like, you make good choice, Rambo. And she's like, she sees the girl on the bike, and she's like, scooter girl from village, whore from village. I absolutely love this actress. I love the performance as Ko. They have a nice conversation on the boat about, what you want out of life and everything like that. And I just feel like there should have been more of that. But killing her does add some weight, and we get to see a mean, nasty Rambo. I really like the score in this, though. The score is excellent. It's something I can hum all day at work. If I'm just sitting there or in my car, I can hum this thing. You can just go with it. You can run with it. And it's pushing the action, pushing everything forward. So I really do like the score in this movie. And it's got all the manliness shit we want, where Rambo's getting ready. The camera's going down his fucking muscles and his arm and everything. It just Just like movies like Predator and Commando, it's manliness. For me, as a guy, I love watching flicks like this. It gets me jacked. I like the manliness of it all. I think it's excellent. I love the end song in this movie, Peace in Our Life, performed by Frank Stallone. So very good. And the speech Rambo gives at the end, Trotman's kind of confronting him and saying, don't hate your country. Everything wrong with the war, but don't hate your country for it. And he's like, hate, I'd die for it, man. And he gives this nice speech. He goes, I just want our country to love us as much as we love it. And it just really hits you in the feels, I feel. This movie is over the top, but it was also a product of its time. And I think we need movies like this now. So even though I'm hacking on this movie, guys, I still really like it. I still really like a lot of things about it. I mean, I get a nice feeling at the end of the movie and everything. And I will admit, it is one of the greatest action movies, especially in the 80s. I still really enjoy this movie, man. So I'm going to give Rambo First Blood Part 2 a B-. So let me know in the comments, guys, what you think about this movie. We'll have a great conversation as usual. I have reviewed First Blood, so check it out at the end of the video on the end card. So I really thank you guys for joining me on this review. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Hit the like button, share the videos. It really, really, really goes a long way. Trust me when I tell you that. So I'll see you next time. I'll see you on the next video. My name is Jason. You're watching Backtrack Cinema. I will see you next time, and I will see you in the movies. Cheers.